Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Moon Scarab channel. My name is Ramon, and on today's show is a show called In Orbit, and it's a show in which weekly I will have a conversation about divination, life, and more with people in our divination community. Not necessarily people who have channels. It could be anyone who are participant in our community. Um, just to share space to talk a casual conversation on a little bit of everything. So, welcome to the first episode of this show. I'm so honored and happy that everybody's here with me sharing. Um, let's see who's here. So, hello, Hershey. Great to see you. Hi, Miss Moonlight, Moira D, Rebecca Joe, Tropical Empress, Joyful Journey. Robin. Hi, Robin. Great to see you. Nancy, a Crohn's Intuition. Great to see you all. Thank you for your support and for being here. And today I have a special guest, and it's someone who I always wanted to share alive. And I never thought that it was going to be in my channel. It's someone so special that brings a smile to our faces every time she comes into our rooms, into our chat rooms. And without further ado, let me bring you in, Miss Tarot D. Miss Tarot D. Hello.
Are we live? Are we
We
live?
are live. Yes.
Get me in the green room for 20 minutes. I've been here so long, I have to go put more money in the meter before I get a ticket.
You always have to make an entrance, right?
Hi,
Isn't that
dear.
true?
Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, my God. It, I am so freaking excited about today's show. Ramon, thank you so much.
Moon Scarab
Um,
channel. My name is Ramon.
what an honor to be your first.
Yes, yes.
So if you know what that means, type it in the comments. When somebody's your first, they're what? You're a virgin. Whoever
No.
gets it right gets a free reading from Ramon. Uh,
No, actually like a virgin because I
like,
already did. I did a live with Hershey and Karen, my first show per se.
so
So this,
am I your first drag queen?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
well, I'm excited.
Uh,
Ooh, look, Madam Moira, she wrote cherry. You're the cherry. Um, ooh, we have some filthy minds in this room. Oh my God. Look at what you are all writing. Somebody's hearing an echo. Uh-oh. Could that be me?
oh my God. So, Miss Tarot D, I wanted to have a conversation with you
Yes.
um about divination, your spiritual journey. I've been in the community for a year and a half, and you were one of the first people who made comments in my video, and you will pop in chats here and there, and I get to know, through your interactions, your great humor, uh, the beautiful person that you are, and I wanted to share the space with you. And a lot of people in the community already know you, and you're an inspiration to us in many ways. So I wanted to take this time and share with you, know a little bit more about you, so people who've seen you in different other chat rooms in the different lives get to know a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Uh, so I'm a
Who
Leo.
is Miss Tarot D?
Miss, I'm a Leo. Um, I'm a happily married gal. I've been with my spouse, who's my husband. We've been together over 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm an old bitch. Um, and he's Puerto Rican like you are, and I shared that with you.
Mm.
Also, right outside of the San Juan area. Um, I've been reading tarot on and off for, I'd say, good 30 years, if not more.
30
Uh,
years.
yeah. Um, and do you want to hear that story, or do you?
Yeah,
You
please. Did you starting it with tarot divination in general? Did you start it directly with tarot? Was any other form of divination that you started with?
so interesting fun fact. Uh, when when before we came to this country, we lived on an island called Sardinia. It's in Italy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was sent to live with my grandparents. And my grandmother would take me around to the pregnant women and had to guess what if they were going to have a boy or a girl. Um, Looking back, I guess she saw something or felt something that I really didn't know. Uh, so I've always felt connected to some higher spiritual power.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I remember as a child, I had a dream. I had a dream of going up a hill, and there was a school with a fence. And when I looked over at the fence, it was a basketball area where they had basketball poles and nets and everything, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
Months later, we moved to this town, and we were walking around. I said, "Oh, I feel like I've been here before." And my brother was like, "We've never been here. We just moved here." And I said, there's a fence on the top of the hill, and on the other side, there's all the basketball courts. Lo and behold, we walked up the hill, and there was this fence with all these basketball poles. And I said, you know. So I've always felt a little precognition in seeing things, and always felt very connected to spirits and the earth and just the cosmos. Um, and then when I was older, I was dating this man. And I was talking to him. He lived in the village. And I said, "Oh, kind of interested in things like this." And we were just having a conversation. And you have to remember, back in the day, we didn't have Amazon. There weren't
Mm-hmm.
too many bookstores. There was two esoteric stores. One was called, oh God, if anybody from New York can remember, and I think it was called Enchantments, which was a more of a witchcraft store. You could buy like ingredients and things like that. And the other one was called Sticks and Bones on Christopher Street. But I never really went in. I was a little scared. I was spooked. I didn't know, I still had that bias or that lack of education that when you went into those places, you would attract negative spirits, and I was always afraid of that. So the person that I was with, who I've been telling this, he went out, and God bless him, he meant well. He bought me a tarot deck, and it was is it the Toth deck, the
The talk,
Crowley?
talk. Uh-huh.
Yes, yes. And right off the bat, I felt a little awkward. I appreciated that he was the gift, but I always felt like, for me, that you should get your own deck,
Mm-hmm.
not really be gifted. I don't know. There's just something about going to find and connecting and really being drawn to the deck that you're supposed to use.
Mm.
And I really didn't know much about the deck or about Crawley at this point. But as I started to use it, first of all, I wasn't so keen on the images. It's too bright and too
It then
what's
doesn't resonate with you, and I understand because I've seen it and it doesn't resonate with me either.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a beautiful deck and a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
love it. Just for me, it wasn't just my type of deck. And then I was starting to get serious migraines whenever I used it.
Mm.
So I felt bad. I said, "I can't. I'm just getting migraines. Um, I feel maybe this isn't right for me." And then I started having dreams. And in my dreams, I was seeing clouds. Clouds. So we found a shop and they had a whole series of decks, but they wouldn't let you open them. They wouldn't let you go through them.
Mm-hmm.
There were no flip through guides like we have now.
Right.
But, and I still have the deck. Uh, what this was on the counter like this. I don't know if you could see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of looks like
The back.
clouds. So I
Mm.
said, oh, that's the one I must have dreamt about. So I bought it. And
What deck is that?
it's called the Conley deck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's a pretty deck. It's kind of like cartoonish in a way. Um,
That's
but
beautiful.
then I found out what would need. So, God, what is her name? I can't remember her name. I'm so bad. My brain, it's not so good. It'll come to me and I'll tell you later. But
I'm bad with names too.
yes, if you could Google while I talk, that'll be great. If somebody can Google it. Uh, I think her name is Eileen Conley, I think. And she had gotten a lot of heat from the community because she self-identified herself as a Christian. And she used prayers in her rituals. Um, so, and at that time, I was still kind of a practicing Catholic. So I kind of felt a little safer because, she had Christian stuff and prayers. It's like, oh, okay, maybe it'll protect me from negative forces or whatever I believed at the time. And she came out with 3 books, which I highly recommend. Her books are really good, and it's called The Apprentice. They're workbooks. They're workbooks. The Apprentice, The Journeyman, and then there's The Master. And you learn to read tarot, and you do these workbooks. And as you finish one, you move on to the next level. And they're really great. And I used this deck for many, many years. Like I said, I still have it. But then it wasn't resonating with me anymore. Um, and then my husband, did
Miss Taro D, sorry to interrupt you. I think I froze. I'm gonna leave you talking, and I'll be back
sure,
right away. Okay,
sure.
continue.
I thought I was boring him and he fell asleep. I'm talking, and Ramon's like, wake up, baby, wake up. Uh, and I'm just looking over at the chat while giving him a minute to get back. Yes. Oh, see, Karen Johnson. She has her books. Yes. Aren't they helpful, Karen? Yes. And Madame Maru also has it. Yeah. So okay. So you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's a helpful little book. Um, so what tended to happen though was when life got complicated and I moved from my spiritual self, and then um, my husband for many years did not want to hear about esoteric things. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, I don't want to tell his story, but he had a past where people did used spirituality to cause harm. Had a past where so used
I'm back.
spirituality to cause harm. Okay, are you good? I'm hearing an echo on your part now. Let me see. Is that
Yeah.
better? Oh, great.
Yep. That's good. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so my husband was somebody had done some negative type of santeria against him, so he never liked anything esoteric. He didn't want to hear it. So I became a closeted tarot reader. I could
Mm.
I would hide my tarot cards and I would only pull
At
them out from
home.
time to time. Yes, when he wasn't around. Uh,
Mm.
and then a couple of years ago, he he he's like, how come you're not using your tarot cards? So he kind of outed me. He outed me, and he said, well, he said, I know that kind of stuff makes you uncomfortable, so I didn't want to do it in front of you. And he's like, oh, he says, I'm okay with it. You do you. It's you. Um, just don't involve me. I'm like, no, not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I started taking out, and then I started researching. And of course, the first deck that we all buy when we start looking is obviously the Rider White. Um, and I have to say that's to me, I'm kind of a traditionalist. Like I love that deck, and I always go back to that deck, and I go to decks that really carry the RWS motif throughout.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, the
don't.
essence of the original. Yeah, I get it.
Yes,
And
and
it's amazing. It's amazing how many decks there are out there, right? There's a topic
yeah,
for everything. It's at pot, drag queens, pandas, candy, tequila. I've seen it all. And like you said, it depends on what resonates with you. So
let's
let me go back on what you were saying
sure.
earlier. Do you believe that a deck should be gifted, or you should go out and get your own?
Um,
Because I
I
heard
mean,
both sides.
yeah, I think it's individualized.
Hmm.
I'm not one of those that says you should do this, you should do that, and it can only be done
Right.
this way. Says to each his
Hmm.
own. You know, I don't believe anybody should create your spirituality or create your spiritual beliefs. Everybody has their own journey. They different people do different things. I mean, if someone has a experience of lack of trust, right? They might not feel comfortable receiving a gift of a deck from someone because
Hmm.
they don't they have trust issues. And now you're giving them somebody's giving them this very intimate thing. So for them, they might say no. They might not like gifts. They might want to do themselves. Other
Right.
people might see it as a gift of energy or a gift of passing down the baton to the next person, to the next generation.
Hmm.
I mean, it's very individualized. Um, I know now, um, you know, what I know about my own spirituality. What I know about tarot? What do I the things I learned about the esoteric world? I am open to receiving tarot decks, and people have gifted me decks. Um, Gerald sent me a deck. Jane the Seeker sent me my very, very first angel deck. I never had an angel deck. Uh,
I
and then
recently
there's,
got them too. I've never been, in my case, I was never interested in angels because it resonate. Well, I mean, it evoked organized religion to me, and I come from a Christian organized religion background.
mhm,
And
mhm.
it wasn't until recently that I had a personal experience and got interested in the topic of angels. My niece, she's also into the esoteric, but she doesn't do much tarot or divination tools. Hers,
Mm.
she believes a lot in angels, and she has some angel oracles. But it's the deck that I got. It's beautiful. I don't have it on hand right now, but it's called The Influence of Angels. I'll pull it later, but it's fantastic. So you being right now involved in this path of spirituality, do you have any spiritual foundation growing up?
Growing up, say that
Yeah.
again.
Did you have any spiritual foundation going growing up? Like in my case, I come from a household that was Pentecostal, a denomination
Mm,
of the Protestant church, and that was like the base of the foundation of my spiritual path right now. I think when you come from a some type of spiritual background, it creates, like, it paves the way to be more receptive to spirituality down the road in your life. Was that your case?
So okay, so you have to understand,
Hmm.
for most Italians, Catholicism is part of your culture, and it
It's
doesn't
culture. Hmm.
necessarily mean that you are religious.
Hmm.
So, so you might
I
do
get
your
it.
first communion, you might get confirmed, but you may never go to church another day in your life. There's certain, there's certain things.
Yeah, yeah, of
Uh,
course. Uh-huh.
American Italians, which are different than European Italians, they do things like the seven fishes at Christmas, which is a ritual, or but it doesn't mean that they're really religious. My family was never really religious. While we did some of the cultural stuff, uh, they were never religious. Um, and I guess, like I was saying, I always had this attraction to spirituality, right?
Hmm.
And I found that I really felt an urge to be connected with spirit.
Hmm.
And I really wanted to serve the universe and to be connected with spirit 24/7.
That's beautiful.
Yes, to the
So
point where
you weren't taught that that's part of your DNA of who you are.
it's who I am. But wait, because you're
Hmm.
gonna lose your socks for a moment.
Bring it on.
I became a monk.
What? What?
Look, everybody,
so
did y'all see
so be
Ramon's face?
so so before becoming Miss Tarot D, you were Miss Tarot M, Miss Tarot
Yes,
Monk.
yes. As a young
Oh my
man,
goodness.
yes, I entered religious life.
She did.
Yes, somebody just like lost it. Robert lost it. He said, "Did she say Alma?" Yes, Robert.
She
And
did
Robert,
say a
thank you
monk.
for subscribing, and everyone, thank you for the compliments on my hair and everything. I love it.
Yeah, if anyone could put Miss Tarot's D link to her channel, that'll be awesome.
But yeah, I became a Franciscan monk.
Wow.
Um, and I was a monk for 3 years. I belonged to and I have to, I always say this because, subsequently I left the church and I don't follow Orthodox church, any kind of formal religion.
Hmm.
Nothing wrong with anyone that does. I mean, for some people that works. For me, it didn't. The Catholic Church doesn't accept people like me. They don't accept my marriage. So why do I want to belong to an organization that really doesn't want me in there? So,
Hmm.
while it's pretty and they have beautiful rituals, it's not for me. So that's why I left. However, the group that I belonged to, they were very progressive. Now, mind you, they did wear their habits all the time. They never wore secular clothes. They truly lived the lifestyle of poverty and obedience and chastity. They did not just play around with that and pretend. They truly did. Every 3 months, we would have to pack all of our belongings into a duffel bag and move into another room, and this way, you never felt like you owned the room or anything. And if you had more belongings that can fit into a duffel bag, you had to get rid of stuff because, as a Franciscan living the life of poverty, you should not have accumulate items.
Hmm.
Um, and I did that, but they're the ones who helped me to embrace my sexuality. They told me God did not make mistakes, that God made me the way I am so I could see the world from a different perspective. Wasn't that a beautiful message?
That's
Um,
beautiful. That's
to
impressive.
accept, yes, yes. And their thing was, all roads lead to heaven. So it doesn't matter if you're Pentecostal or Catholic, Jewish, Buddha. Everybody has their journey, and at the end, they reach their God of their understanding. I
Hmm.
mean, it was amazing, amazing.
That's
And after
that's
three
impressive.
years, yes, yes.
We
I
need more
always
of
have
that. We need more of that in this world. You know,
exactly,
it,
exactly.
there's so many ways to reach to tap into the divine realm. Either it's whatever God you believe in, whatever name, whatever spiritual path, whatever set of beliefs too, because you don't have to follow certain type of religion. You can
No,
have take the best of everything, and that's one of the things I
exactly.
like about a tarot. Because after I parted ways with the church, I went into exploring other forms of other paths of spirituality until I came to tarot. Tarot came to me, and that's another story. But I love it because I feel that it's it molds into however I feel in the moment. It molds to life.
Mm,
I'm not
mm,
restricted to a certain path. That makes any sense,
yes. So
right?
let's take a little break from me. Let's flip the table, Ramon. How
It's
did
not
you
about me, it's about you.
how did you come into tarot?
How I came into tarot. So, you know, after I parted ways with the church, there was a period of many years that I was without any type of spiritual uh, path. And I felt it over the years. It
Mm,
came into depression. I was drinking a lot. And I knew that something was missing. And it was that spiritual nurturing because we're not just body, we're also spirit, we're a soul, and those things need to be nurtured as well. And I became a spiritual shopper. I went exploring different a spiritual shopper. I
shopper.
went exploring shopper, shopping for religion, for a way, a spiritual path. And nothing fit me. It's I I took all the good from the ones that I explored, but it didn't feel like myself. And one day I was I was into Jainism, which is a ancient form of spirituality in India, and they
Mm,
value life, like all forms of life, insects, animals, people, and that resonated with me because I'm that way, and I said it before. If I see a spider, I don't kill it. I bring it outside. I take it outside. There's no reason to kill it. But their way of life is so restricted that I knew that I was never going to be able to achieve that. And one day I was watching a video on Jainism. It was on YouTube, and it suggested me another video on different forms of spirituality. And tarot came up, and I was interested in tarot, and I knew nothing about tarot. Um, in fact, as a child, I really didn't play with cards that much, just in school sometimes. And now as an adult, I don't know much card games because it wasn't part of my upbringing.
mm,
And I got interested, and I went right away to look into a tarot deck. I went on eBay, and I didn't know where to start, so I said, "All right, I'll figure it out." And the next day, I was at work, and I came out of my office to dispose of some papers, and I went to the recycle bin. And when I went to toss the papers, there was a tarot card, and it was
mm,
crazy because the day before I was just thinking about getting a tarot deck, and I knew there were 78 cards, and I learned a little bit more about what tarot was and was not. And I pulled that first card, and then another one was right behind it, and I started pulling cards. It was like a magic trick. The more I pulled, the more cards there were. And I said, okay, if all 78 cards are there, this is going to be my deck. All cards were there, the box and everything. And that became my first tarot deck, which I still have. It's a Rider Waite tarot deck, and eh, I felt that it was the universe giving me that deck, and that's how I came into this path, and from there it's been a journey,
Mhm.
learning, it's about the meaning of the different cards, and until I decided to have my own channel and share what I learned until now, and for my channel, um one of the videos that I have is the meaning of all 78 cards with keywords and numerology, zodiac correspondences, and everything, um, just to help people who are starting in tarot learn a little bit more, try to ease the process. Because when I started, the booklet, because I had the booklet and everything, the booklet wasn't that helpful because what the video said was different, and I was very confused until I put all the information together and shared it. And I get comments, but a lot of the comments are people who are starting in tarot. So
Yes.
it's amazing. Every day there are people who are coming to learn about this path,
Yes.
and it's amazing. 78 cards. To me, there's 78 windows into the world, into ourselves.
Mhm.
And it's been a beautiful journey. And right now, I say you never know everything about tarot. It's going to be an ongoing process.
It's
Yeah.
yes, it's a lifelong journey.
It's a
Um,
lifelong journey. And it's always going to mean something different in different moments of society, because for example, we don't talk about genders anymore in tarot. We talk about energies. So like a male, or someone who identifies as a man could embody the energy of a queen, and vice versa. Definitely. And going back to decks, what is your favorite deck? What is the deck that you're using right now? And I don't know, like your all-time favorite one.
what did you just ask me?
What is the
My
deck,
oh,
your favorite deck
Ramon, with
that
your
you're using
accent,
right
I
now?
thought you said something. You made me blush.
It's
In the times
my
you
accent. I'm sorry.
said some
Oh my
people have
god.
big decks. Some people have big decks. Some people have small decks. Uh, I love making
Which is the one you're
so.
using?
So for anybody who hasn't, I actually had found Ramon's channel um, when I started going to YouTube to look because when I wanted to see what else was out there, and I fell in love with your set. Your cards, your 78 um, cards that you read on, uh, and I just your content is so beautiful. It's so artsy and so well
Thank you.
produced. And I went for the Tara and I stayed for the voice because your voice was like so charming. I was like, "Ooh, I love his voice." I was like, "Hey, let's go to the next card." And I got through 78 cards just listening to your voice.
That's
But
Miss
yes,
Tarot D.
that's Miss Tardy. But and then when you joined our little community, I said, "What a humble, nice man!" But you are so intelligent, and I think the chat community will agree with me. You have such rich knowledge of the esoteric world, and we all like to hear um, you share your knowledge with us, and I think we all grow from listening to you and going to your YouTube channel and looking at some of your videos. So yes, we really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very
So my
much.
favorite deck, when I started going back into Terra, and I was trying to find a deck that I liked besides the regular uh, RWS, because as much as I like RWS, I also wanted something that was more inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you probably have seen this on my video. By the way, these are I love these little hardcover cases. Um, I
Oh yeah.
travel,
Mm-hmm.
subways, and these just keep the cards from getting damaged or wet. But my favorite deck is the Divine Diversity deck, and it's purple,
Beautiful.
and I love it because there is so much diversity. And I'm just going to give you some quick. I'll show you some cute stuff. Like, look at the Three of Cups. You know, he makes sure that he includes everyone. Um, and even the Six of Cups. It's always like different races. We have even Asian. Um, and then this is the artist, and he's a friend of mine now on Facebook. He included himself.
Hmm.
Um,
Who's that deck? Who created that deck?
Joe Phillips.
Okay.
He's actually, and it's one. Him and I've developed a relationship because he receives weekly dialysis. So while I talk about my cancer, and he shares about his dialysis, and you know, and he's just a sweet, talented man. And he even included his mother in the deck as the Empress.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They're beautiful. And then he
After
gives
the
you,
after the show, if you can include in the comments a link to the deck, just so we
yeah,
can all take a look at it, and whoever's interested might want to get it.
yeah, and the Lovers and the Devil all have like gay couples and lesbians and
Hmm.
straight. You know, it's just so much diversity in it, and that's what I love about it. And the cards just, you know, it's so different. Like this is the Hierophant, which is very different than your traditional Christian clergy.
Hmm.
Judgment, you're gonna love the Judgment. Look at Judgment. Is that beautiful?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's Anubis.
I know. And look at Justice. He used me for Justice.
Oh my God, he captured you.
So yeah. So
That's
this
and
is
the artistry. The artistry is beautiful.
yes. So that is my go-to deck. Um, this is the deck that I mainly use for myself now.
Hmm.
And then for others, when I read for others, um, I switch around, but primarily what I like to use is the Awakening deck when I read for others. Um, and that is because, once again, it's very inclusive. I like the Modern Witch. Modern Witch is very inclusive. However, um, it was pretty much female focused, and it
Right.
didn't, you know, or it had some trans or non-binary, but it really didn't have any masculine energy cards in it.
Hmm.
Where
Okay.
this one is more modern, the Awakening deck. It has
Hmm.
all diversity of cultures, and you know, non. There's also, you know, like someone like this, they can either be trans or gender non-binary. Uh, they follow the Rider White thing. I love this queen. Look at her.
The colors are amazing. So
Very
let me
beautiful.
ask you. Let me
Yes.
ask you, Miss Haroldy, which card is your significator?
I don't have one.
You don't have one?
Mm-mm.
Is there one card that so all right, so which card do you like the least then? Is there a card when it pops up like it scares you, you feel uncomfortable or
Not at all. Um, I guess because I really have such a close personal relationship with my deck.
mm-hmm.
I really do. I feel connected. Like I'm constantly shuffling. I carry it everywhere. And if a scary card should come up, not, you know, lack of better words, I just
Right.
stop, because to me that's a lesson or a message I need to hear.
It makes sense.
So
Definitely.
to me, you know, there's nothing
So
bad.
mhm. Let me ask you a controversial question. Going into artistry, what is what are your thoughts on AI decks? Right now, there's a lot of options of decks, and within those huge variety of options, there's ones that are made by artists. I mean, this in itself is also, you know, artists, the artistry. That's this. It's also very subjective. But in the case of AI decks, how do you feel about that?
I mean, like, everybody has their own feelings about it. My
Hmm.
personal, I have yet to really, I find the AI decks a little too glossy, a little too commercial looking. I
Hmm.
don't know. Maybe it's just me. Uh, I have yet to really see an AI deck that I've kind of been drawn to or resonated with. And I've seen them. I go through the flip throughs, and I'm just like, I like. I really there's something about a deck that came from somebody's personal connection with spirit. I'm gonna give a friend of mine a plug. I don't know if she's ever gonna watch this, but she's on my Facebook. Her name is Teresa Valer, Valer, Varela. Uh, and she's a writer. She has her doctorate in literature, and she's Puerto Rican, and she sells her. She's part of the artisan network that my husband is, and she has her own guardian, Graciela, and her daughter designed and put together this deck. And this really came from her work with her spirit, and it's an oracle deck, but it's there's something to be said. And what you might like about it, Ramon, is that the bottom it has the words in English and Spanish.
That's
So it's also a
interesting.
good way. Yeah, it's a good way to learn
Hmm.
another language as you learn tarot. Um,
Language through tarot, right?
yeah, but when you meet the artist who's created the deck and you find out what inspired them to do it, I mean, it just adds more life to it,
Hmm.
and
You appreciate differently.
in a relationship. Yeah.
Hmm. All right.
So
So, Miss Tarot D, let me ask you
yes,
this: Does Miss Tarot D believe in reincarnation?
I do.
You
I
do.
do.
Have you used tarot to explore reincarnation? You want to
No,
share any experience? You haven't.
I haven't. I've used tarot to get to know my spirit guides,
Hmm.
but I have never used tarot to explore reincarnation. Uh, just because it is my personal belief that in all my past lives, I've been an amazing queen. Um, so it's kind of boring, I'm
it's it's a
Cleopatra, and
given. It's a given, right?
it's a given. You know, Helen of Troy, that was me. So when somebody says, yes, in my past life I was Cleopatra, call them a liar because that was really Miss Tarady. Uh, but yeah, I
Uh,
haven't. Yeah, but I do believe in past lives. I know there's some people who are doing some great work in helping people identify their past lives. I mean, I rather look more towards the future than the past.
mhm.
I feel that whatever my previous life was before, I learned those lessons. And now I've moved on to my new life where I have to learn new lessons. So, trying to go backwards, there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I
Right.
can do about that,
Hmm.
It's like, let's go
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. I have a personal thought on reincarnation. I do believe reincarnation, but I don't believe that time is linear. I believe it's cyclical. So I believe there is possibilities that we can reincarnate in the past. It doesn't always
Interesting.
have to be in the it doesn't always have to be in the future, you know. Also, I believe, and I don't know if this is your case, I believe in life beyond Earth. The universe is so big, so huge, multi-dimensional. There's other forms in which we can reincarnate. There's no reason that we have to come back to Earth all the time in different reincarnations. We can reincarnate in other forms of life, in other dimensions, in it's in other timelines. So yeah, I believe that there is a possibility in which we can learn from other ways of life in the past and in the future. Do you believe in life beyond Earth?
Oh, absolutely,
Hmm. It'll be
absolutely.
silly not to nowadays. I mean, I respect everybody's opinion, but nowadays that's kind of like a given, right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
everybody it understands or has a concept that the universe is so much bigger than we used to think, and it'll be a
Yes.
waste of space of us being just the only ones, right?
Yeah, I totally believe in aliens. I totally believe that they live among us. I totally believe they've been part of the creation of our society from the very beginning. I actually believe that we are part of some kind of alien experiment. Uh, that they came to this planet and they put some chromosomes together and let's see what happens. And they've just been watching us evolve throughout all these millenniums. And, you
Hmm.
know, and every once in a while when we're about to self destruct, they kind of just pivot us because they want to see this experiment continue. Um, so to me, like the story of Adam and Eve was just a folk tale describing the experiment. Two chromosomes in a petri dish. The petri dish was the Guardian of Eden, and they just put two little things in there and you know watched it grow. Um, you
Yeah, I agree with you in many ways too. I believe that a lot of the stories in the Bible, uh, a lot of things happened, but it's the way that they're described,
Mhm.
because there's no way that you can describe accurately technology that you don't understand. And I
Right.
was on a live recently, and I gave this example. I was talking to this girl. She's 20 years old. I was trying to explain to her what a cassette was. She
Yes.
couldn't grasp the concept. And I was trying to translate it into terms that she could understand. I told her it looks like it's about the size of your phone, but it has this ribbon that has a magnetic strip like behind the credit cards. And it was, she couldn't figure out how is it possible that you have to listen and rewind and fast forward music. And, she comes from a different era of streaming, of downloading. And for a lot of things in the Bible, they try to explain in the best way possible things that we nowadays see it differently. And it's
Yes.
possible that there was intervention that they consider divine,
Hmm.
that was possibly extraterrestrial. It's
Yeah.
And a lot of these things were miraculous to them. And another example I gave was like, if I was to bring my great grandmother from the past to today, how could she explain what the internet is? You know, an atmosphere of information. It's a miracle that you'll be able to share a photo instantly at the other side of the world. She will try to describe it in her own terms, with words and concepts that she knows. And I think that's the case in the Bible as well,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's like when you take someone who was born and lives in the desert and you ask them to describe snow, they have no concept of it.
Hmm.
They can't even find the words. Even if they might have seen a picture of it, their vocabulary for it is extremely limited. Uh,
Yeah,
but
like
it's
a
interesting.
white, like a white cold sand, right?
Exactly, exactly. They try to make it into something that's familiar for them, right? Uh,
Hmm.
and I mean, and when we look at different cultures throughout time, many have similar stories. You know, just a little tweaked, but there's so many stories about people dying and then being 3 days later being resurrected. Isn't that the story of the sun god Ra? Didn't he die and then come back to life? And then it's the same story that
Hmm.
we see the the Christians use for Jesus, and I'm sure
Cyrus,
you
yeah.
know, in other religions there's stories about people resurrecting. Today we call it zombies. People come back to life.
Hmm.
They're zombies. I mean, so yeah. So
Yeah, that's great. So, what other forms of divination do you practice besides tarot? If you do,
I,
do you do just tarot? You do oracles as well, different forms of cartomancy, any other divination tools?
yeah, so it's funny because I was watching Heather's show Friday, her and Allison and I were both agreeing that we're pretty much Taurus people. Her and I, we love. I think maybe you were a guest and you were talking about all different tools that you use at one point, and we were like, yeah, we love to learn about all these different ruins and divining rods and pendulums, but I tend to pretty much focus on Terra.
Hmm.
Um, I have crystal balls, uh, not those kind of balls. Behave, Ramon. Real crystal balls.
I didn't utter a word. It was you who brought it up.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I got to be careful with you. Uh, but I have crystal balls. I didn't bring one into my room here, but if you go through some of my old videos, you'll actually see some. And then I guess you could call it cardamassi. I can never pronounce that word. But Italians basically they would use a regular plain deck of cards that they would play
Hmm.
scopa, and they would read those. So I was trying to get back into that. Like I was trying to go into my roots, and I actually had gotten some scopa cards, which kind of looked like
Hmm.
the Spanish cards. Uh,
Yes, we had those.
Yes, and I was writing the meanings behind them. I don't know if you could see it.
Hmm.
Like, oh, there you go. You see that? I was
Oh
putting
yeah,
it,
the past memory, healings, forgiveness. Yeah.
and because and I can't. There's a wonderful woman. I'm so bad with names. I should write this down. Um, sh Her Facebook page is called Rue's Kitchen, and her first name is Grace, and she wrote a really beautiful book on Italian folk magic. Um, and it was one of the few books that I actually found helpful. But the interpretation of the cards is very different than the interpretation that we see in RWS.
Hmm.
So the three of swords is not like the three of swords that we see in 3WS. It has a completely different. It's more about the three of swords. It's more about infidelity, and somebody breaking your marriage, things like that. Um, you know. So, and I was trying to learn it, and then it just my brain just couldn't learn anything new, and I said, "Oh, I'll just stick with what I know." And I stopped trying to learn it, but maybe at some point I'll go back to study. But yeah, but pretty much I
Mm.
use Terra. I have a lot. I have RuPaul's Drag Race Terra. In case you ever
Oh, I've
want to be
seen that.
drag, you seen that?
I've seen
Um,
it. Yeah, I don't have it,
this
but I've seen it.
this one you would like. This one's called. It's 22 tarot cards, and you can color them.
Oh, that's really nice.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah,
Right?
it is cute.
And look at that. You could just
Have you
and you could photocopy them if you want and color them in and just do.
talking about Italian tradition? Have you ever heard of La Vera Sibilla?
No. Tell me.
Let me show you. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, while Ramon's gone, let's talk about him, you know. What do you I'm reading chat. Let's see. So we got okay, Jeff is on. Hi Jeff, Sherry, Voices from the Swamp. Hi everyone. Psychic Awakenings. I don't know you. Hi. How are you? Uh Soul Academy. Oh, Heather, thank you so much for doing this. I'm actually reading off Ramon's page. Let me switch to mine. There's Jane. Jane, I gave you a shout out. I let everybody know that you gave me my first angel deck, and I appreciate you. Heavenly Blessed Honey. Ben, does everybody know Ben? Beneficial Tara. He is so adorable. He's so sweet. And he's from London, so he's probably half asleep already, but he's here. Hi, Hypnicity.
Hi,
Hershey of
Ben. Thank you for being here. Thank you,
Ramon's
everybody,
back.
for being here.
We can't
I'm back.
we can't talk about him no more. He's back.
No, you can go ahead. So there is an oracle called
Yes.
La Vera Sibilla, and it's very much used in Italy.
Ooh.
And yeah, you can find it online.
Okay.
And this card is based on all 52 playing cards. And it's
Oh,
kind of similar to, I don't know, like Kipper, but much more extended. It's like a mixture of Kipper with Lenormand, um,
hmm.
Las Sibylle de Salons, which is French, but it's a depiction of everyday situations.
Ooh, how
Let me see if I
pretty.
can. So this one is conversazione, which
Oh,
is conversation, and it gives you here the pip number. So each one of them is a different aspect. So here, uh, the
attenzione.
lady, the doctor,
Oh, wow. Oh, those are adorable. I'm gonna have
and
to look into those. And you found those on
yeah, La
Amazon?
Vera Sibila. eBay has it. There's a seller from Italy. I'm gonna link it below,
Yeah.
but I have two copies of this deck because I love it so much. La Casa, and this is intimacy,
Mm,
comfort,
the home. Two of hearts, yes.
and
Interesting.
and uh, yeah, Belvedere, which is looking afar, a point of view. But if you see, she, I'm sorry, she has her telescope is backwards.
Oh, how cute. Oh,
Yeah,
so
so
instead of,
this is
yes, we need to look within.
news or news or waiting for someone to arrive. And it's 52 different images, and this is very much used in Italy as an everyday oracle.
Yes.
Sorry. And
Yes.
what I do with La Vera Sibila is I link it, and I'm actually, there's a show I'm gonna have soon called Oraculum, and it's
Okay.
different readings with different divination tools. And one of the shows that I want to do is linking La Vera Sibila with Lenormand and Tarot and other forms of divination that are similar, and each one of the cards has a different message. So it's
Oh,
very interesting. If I pull, for example, the 10 of diamonds, which here is the thief, it'll be the 10 of pentacles in tarot, and it'll be a different card in Lenormand and a different card in La Sibylle de Salons, which is French. And yeah, and the messages that I get are really interesting, combining all these different divination tools that are linked by one number, one suit.
do you see what my friends on do you see what I was talking about? Ramon is such a wealth of information. He knows so much. Look at this, how quickly he's learned to use these cards and mix them with other traditions. He is you.
It's, I
You're
mean,
gonna have to
it's very
change your
interesting.
channel to Encyclopedia Ramon. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
please. Let me show you the French version. So the French have a one that it's very similar to. This is La Sibylle de Salons, which is the Oracle of the Salons. There's it's in English too, the Parlor Sibyl, and it's very similar as well. Very similar to Kipper,
Hmm.
but it also has for each one of the suits and the numbers a different message. So
Hmm.
here, Biadu,
Hmm. Hmm.
and here's a love message.
Yes, but
Three, a woman consultant, and it's different life situations. Voyage, voyage, I guess, journey, and this is the 10 of the 10 of diamonds. And we saw the 10 of diamonds earlier, which was the thief. But in here, it's a trip, it's a voyage, it's a journey. So linking each one of them gives you a very interesting message depending on the inquiry. And this is another cartomancy system, and one that I
Beautiful.
use a lot too. Yeah. So one day we'll share it.
I love it. Do you read
Right.
for others, or do you just keep it for yourself? What do you do with your talents?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I mean, I do it if I see that it's someone who really is in need, because reading tarot is a big responsibility. You know,
It
a lot
is.
of life decisions
Yes, it
are
is.
based on your words, on the energy that you share.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I sharing sharing life now, I came to understand that the dynamic is so different reading online for other people on a live than one on one.
Yes.
It's a totally different feeling. But one that I enjoy, you know.
Do you
But at the end, you know,
charge?
I feel that it's uh
Do you charge for your readings? Do you do one-on-one readings, or are you just
depending
mostly
on the
doing
situation.
readings? Hmm.
Depending on the situation, most of the time it's for people close to me.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So let me ask you this, Miss Tarodi. Let me put you on the big screen
Of
because you're
course.
my guest.
There we go.
If you could have a tarot reading with any historical figure,
Oh,
if you could give a tarot reading or get one, who would it be?
oh. I mean, hmm, that's really an,
I got you. I
you
got you.
did. I mean, there's something I would love to read for Pamela Colby, just because she was such a bohemian, so out of her time. I mean, she didn't give a shit. She just did her. She was against the grain. She did this, she did that. She didn't care who liked her, who didn't. I would have just loved to, first of all, have met her, because her spirit is amazing from the little bit that I was
Hmm.
able to read about her. And then just to do a reading for her would be so powerful, especially because she knew enough about the meaning of tarot to be able to visualize these images, to put them into canvas, you know? Um,
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I could just, her energy, her vibration must have been so high level that to be able to sit across from her and do a reading must have really been impactful. Yes, I would love to do a reading for her. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who historically, I know in this room, in the community, there's some very, very powerful readers who have done some amazing readings for me that have resonated so deeply. Uh, so yeah, I mean, and I don't want to start listing names, because if I forget someone, I don't want them to feel that. I don't want their hurt their feelings, but there's in our community, there's just so many powerful readings who read for me. And it's like amazing. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you stumped me. Stumped me, Ramon. Maybe
Yeah.
one day you could do
Do
a reading.
you regularly? I would love to. Do you regularly do readings for others?
So yes and no, not regularly as I love to. Uh,
Uh huh.
you know, family members sometimes, so not a lot of my family knows that I do tarot, just because there's just too much drama there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
sometimes the family that does, they'll ask me to pull a card for them. Last week I was on the bus shuffling, and this lady asked me what I had, and I said these are tarot cards. So I did a reading for her on the bus. I like to go to the park. because there's tables, and I just put out my cards, and people come by, and I'm like, "You want a free reading?" And I do a reading for them for free. Um, when I was healthier, I did readings at charity events, and all the proceeds would go to the charity. So yeah, I like to. I used to do more readings online for people. I used to do weekly readings. Every Saturday, I would read for the week. But yeah, but hopefully, I'll get stronger. And then I have another channel that I'm working on for when I retire. When I stop working, um, I'll be able to really promote that other channel. I work in my field of work has to do with criminal justice um, around children who've been exploited and hurt. So I never want someone to say, hey, there's this tarot card reader who runs this program, and use that to maybe get a really horrible, evil person released from jail on a technicality
Hmm.
because of some bullshit. So I try to
Right.
kind of keep the two worlds separate. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. So we got some interesting comments. Some people will read for Nostradamus,
Holy fat. I'm sorry, I just
right?
went right into that one. Oh, Edgar Allan
Edgar
Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe, Marie Lenormand. That's
Ooh,
really interesting. Paul Newman. Yeah,
oh, he was a healer too. I didn't know that. Oh
yeah.
wow.
What's the most unusual question that you got in a reading?
The most I would say it's not unusual. I think it's the one that I think we all get. Is he cheating on me?
Don't we get that at all? A
Oh,
lot.
is he
Does
cheating
he
on me?
love me?
And my answer is if you're worrying about him cheating on you, then you got bigger issues.
Hmm.
You know, and trust your gut. And I won't do that reading. I won't do that reading. Because,
All right. So going back to your channel, what upcoming projects or plans do you have?
um, well, meeting with you was a big step. Everybody knows, a lot has to do with my illness and my treatments and my energy level. So, I was actually going to quit my channel. I was going to turn it down and I was going to put all Miss Tara D away
No.
um, just because I couldn't do it anymore.
Hmm.
And my husband, he was like, no, no, no. When you do Miss Tara D, it takes you out of yourself. You enjoy doing it. You have fun. Um, so he's the one that motivates me to keep Miss Tarady alive and to
Hmm.
keep her relevant. Uh, so that's why I was really pushing myself, and you and I had planned this a very long time ago. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
I
I
was I
promise.
was pesting you. I was after you, Mr. RD. I would love to do a live with you, and I will leave it in comments. I will never get a reply until it finally happened.
I
You're
know.
playing hard to get.
I, you got to keep them wanting for more. Uh, but I'm doing this, and I'm working on PD from the Tower Lounge. She's putting together the Alice in Wonderland live, and I think Jeff is in it. Jane, I think Hershey's on it. Who else? There's a whole bunch of people who have different parts in it, and of course,
Mhm.
I get to be the Red Queen. So I'm very excited about that. So we're working on that little project. Um, what else am I doing? So those are the two biggies. I'm really trying to, like I said, it takes a lot because the other thing too is Ramon, is that after chemo, during chemo, I lost all my hair, and then my beard grew back. Actually, like
Mm.
most of my life, I had a beard. If you go, like I said, go look at some of my old channels, and you'll
I've
see.
seen it. I've seen it. Yeah.
So I literally had to. I shaved all my facial hair just for you, Ramon.
I'm honored. Oh my
Yes,
God.
I took off my
Thank you.
mustache and my goatee, and so to do a face, I have to take off all my hair. So it's
Wow.
so every
Thank
time
you.
Miss Tara D comes out to play, she has to make sure that she doesn't have the hair sticking out of her chin.
Your efforts are appreciated. And we definitely, Miss Haroldy, we need you in the community. You're fantastic. We love having you around. Your energy, like I said before, always brings a smile. It lightens up any room that you go
I'm
into.
sorry, thank you, but did you see what Heather wrote?
What does she write? Let's see.
I,
Uh
I
she
don't think I can highlight it. She
oh
tried.
my God.
Es una
she's
sucia, está bien.
she's embodied the energy of Miss Terrell D.
She
Definitely.
is. He is like totally taking over.
So,
Um,
do you have
yes.
any advice or message for those who are interested in starting in tarot, divination in general?
Yeah, don't overcomplicate it. I think if you're starting out, take it simple and have fun. Have fun. If you get into this negative mindset, first of all, if you enter something like any kind of form of deviation and you get into it in a negative framework or mindset or to cause harm, you're going to attract the wrong kind of spirits into that. Okay. And for all of our friends who know me, Ramon and I did my spiritual cleansing before we started the show. So I believe in that. So if any
Mm-hmm.
beginner comes into this work, they really should come in with a sense of light, love, a sense of compassion for themselves, um, and joy. Have fun with it. If you're not having fun, if you're miserable trying to learn 78 cards, then don't do it. Please. It shouldn't be work, you know. It should
Definitely.
not be work. It should be, take it easy. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to learn. Um, this is the magician, and then this is the. No offense to Ramon, who has so much information, but then don't try to learn like this is the ruin, and this is the astrological sign to it, and this is the
Uh-huh.
meaning of the number. That's too much for a beginner. Just keep it simple, darling. Keep it simple. Learn the basics, get and let your intuition come forward. That to
Mm-hmm.
me is the real magic when it's your intuition. Because everything else, these are just pieces of card paper. They mean nothing, right? You can read without the cards.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That
you
was
can sit,
beautiful.
yeah, you can sit with someone and just, and I don't mean drag queen reading. I mean read the aura. You know,
You
yes,
start somewhere, right?
somewhere.
All right, Miss Tarot D, we're gonna play a little game, and
Okay.
it's called Tarot this or that. So I'm gonna give you 20 situational questions, and you're gonna choose between two cards, and you're gonna tell me why you chose that one. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Question number one: would you rather take a selfie at the edge of the cliff with the fool, or at a wild party with the devil?
Really? Really? Do I even have to answer that? Come on. Do you not know me, Ramon? Okay.
Answer.
People in chat, what will it be? Totally the devil.
A
Totally the
selfie at the edge of the cliff with the fool, or at a wild party with the devil?
totally the wild party with the devil, baby.
There you
There
go.
you
That's Miss
go.
Tarot D. All right. Question number 2. Tea at the tower or a horse ride with death?
Ooh. Okay. Oh, you know what?
Tea at the tower or a horse
Yes.
ride with death?
So definitely death. But you asked me about it. You asked me in the beginning of the show, is there a particular card that I don't like? And
Uh-huh.
you know what? Now that you pulled it, there is a card. A card that it's not that I don't like it, but troubles me. It's the Tower
Why is that?
because it reminds me of I'm a New Yorker, so we were here for 9/11.
Hmm.
Um, and
I
I
can
worked,
see. Yeah.
yeah. So the Tower card always reminds me of 9/11. So it always does make me feel a little sad initially. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
back to that original question, was there a card? It is the Tower card that makes me a little sad. So definitely, I would go for the horse ride with death.
With death.
Yes,
Really good choice.
absolutely.
All right. Question number 3. Question number 3. A karaoke night with the Hierophant or a book club meeting with the Hangman?
Karaoke with the Hierophant? Well, if so, Jane the Seeker says that the Hierophant is her significator. So if it's Jane the Seeker who's the Hierophant, definitely karaoke with Jane. Uh, the Hangman kind of reminds me of Tara Ass Backwards because he's always chilling out, hanging out. Jeff, um, hmm, I'm not into book clubs. I'm not a very good singer, but I'm an amazing lip syncer. I'm gonna go with the Hierophant.
You can hold a note, right?
I can
The
hold it.
Hierophant.
Mhm.
Awesome. Karaoke night with the Hierophant.
Yes.
All right.
Great question.
Question number 4. Are you Question number 4. Are you a shopaholic or a penny pincher?
Oh, I'm a penny pincher.
Shopaholic, shopaholic, or penny pincher?
I'm a penny pincher until you know what? Wait,
Mhm.
wait. That's not true. You know, my husband says this. When it comes to things for me, I'm extremely frugal, but I am always willing to spend money on others. I have no problem
Mhm.
donating to charities, buying things for the nieces and nephews, for friends. I mean, so and he says, how come I'm not as charitable with myself the way I am with others? So I am a penny pincher, frugal with self, but I'm a shopaholic with everyone else. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm looking for the death card in the deck that I love because you're gonna love it when you were talking about the
Are we
death.
here?
What's your next question? Did I lose you, Ramon? Are you back on Grinder? Can you please get off Grinder and pay attention to the show?
It's not me. I think my internet is freezing a little
Oh,
bit.
you better tell that gorgeous husband of yours to
Let
invest
me
in
come
better
back to you,
internet.
okay?
I tell you,
I think we're back. We're good.
we're good. Can you hear me well? Can you hear
I can
me
hear
now?
you. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. I
Yeah.
want to show you. So the deck.
You're looking for the death card?
Yes, but look at this death card. Isn't it
Mhm.
beautiful? Can you see
Oh,
it well?
wow.
See the little girl?
Uh-huh.
She's
Yeah.
like her and Death are about to do a dance. And while it
That's
doesn't,
beautiful.
it you really don't get that transition thing or change. out of this card like you would
Hmm.
some other RWS, it's still a beautiful interpretation of death and innocence.
Yeah.
Just love it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Question number 5. Best plot for a horror movie: Judgment Day or A Nightmare on Nine of Sword Street?
Uh, yeah, I love that one. Nightmare on Nana Sword Street. Yes, that's great. I
Uh,
love that one.
I used I used to love Freddy Krueger. I used to love Freddy Krueger back in the 80s. That's a really good choice. All right. So, question number 6. The universe hires you for a part-time gig. Which
Mhm.
one would you take? Babysitting or zookeeping?
Oh, I am so totally about the animals. Definitely zookeeping. You know, I don't want to watch nobody else's babies, little brats. I mean, every time I see that sun card, somebody should call Child Protection Services because who would let their little kid go riding off in a horse naked? Talk about neglect. Yes, call CPS on that. Call CPS. I'd rather be a
It looks
zookeeper.
dangerous.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, see, Hershey, zookeeper. Yeah, I have my tribe on. They're all agreeing with me. You know,
Uh-huh.
not changing the diaper. Yeah, creepy babysitting. Uh-huh. Could you imagine that, you open the door and your babysitter looks like me? That could be kind of that could be very interesting.
It is. All right, ready for the next question?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
So Wheel
You
of
are
Fortune.
at a cosmic Okay. You are at a cosmic bar and the universe sends you a free drink. Which would you choose? A custom-made cocktail by Temperance or a
Mm,
mystery drink by the Ace of Cups?
okay. Hmm. So I I would definitely have to go with temperance. I I just every time I hear about mystery drinks, I get worried that somebody's going to molly my drink and take advantage of me. You know, so I'll go with temperance. Did we lose Ramon? I feel like there's a delay here. Can you hear us, Ramon? Ramon, can you hear
Yeah.
us? Oh, what happened? Did we lose you? Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Let's
now?
see. Yeah, I can hear you.
There you go. The Ace of Cups, the overpourer. Yeah, leave it to Care Bear, the alcoholic, to go with the overpourer. Honey, what kind of wine we're having tonight? Rebecca, I love these questions. I agree. I agree. Temperance would water it down. Tom, you're so right.
What are you doing? Are you waving your wand again like you did with Heather the other day? Or did I say something wrong? I'm
No,
sorry.
all of a sudden I'm answering and I feel like you're bored with me. It's like you're like,
My face.
okay, was this
I
bitch
ha-
ever gonna shut the frick up? I want to talk too. He's saying, "Go ahead, Ramon. You talk. You talk.
no, no.
It's your show."
All right. Next question. You are bored and the universe offers you two entertainment options for the evening. Would you
Hmm,
take a rave party with the Three of Cups
hmm.
or classic music concert with the High Priestess?
Oh no! Oh no! Definitely no! 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 No classic music comes. I would
You
fall
don't like
asleep.
classic music?
I would fall asleep in the first 5 minutes.
A rave
Yes,
party with the
yes.
three of
Me
cups.
and the girls. Me and the girls would be going out. Yes, yes, Ramon. Can't you tell?
All
Come on,
right.
one of them looks like me.
Sounds like you. All
Yes.
right. Question number 9. Next category is best actor for a new James Bond movie. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
Next category is best actor for a new James Bond movie. And the award goes to the 7 of Swords or the 7 of Wands.
Hmm. I'm
Who would be
thinking
best actor
best,
for a
the
James
next
Bond movie?
James Bond movie would have to be Thomas from Early Ritual.
Totally unexpected, but very good.
He would make an excellent James Bond. Um, I would. It would have to be the Seven of Wands. Yes, has James Bond, and of course the villain, the Seven of Swords.
Makes sense.
Makes
Hmm.
sense. Perfect.
Have you ever noticed that the 7 of Wands, the guy has 2 different shoes?
I have noticed. Yes.
Food for thought. If you haven't noticed that,
I
people in
know.
the chat,
What do you, what do you think that's about?
it's in one of my videos. Look it up.
Which one? We have a million videos. And from what
It's in
year?
one of them.
Yes. For
It's
those of
on
you who,
I think it's on the 78, the meaning of all 78 cards,
okay, I'm gonna,
if
bitch, I'm
I'm not
just gonna
mistaken.
Google. I'm gonna just Google why does he have two different shoes?
All right. Last question.
Okay.
Who really missed the mark?
Hmm.
Fashion advice by the lovers or survival skills by the 10 of swords?
Definitely survivor skills. By
Survival skills.
oh my God! Who totally? I mean, he missed the mark, but apparently 10 other people didn't miss the mark. They
Yeah,
got their time.
because this could be a fashion statement, right?
I
I
love it.
guess.
Listen, you know, if it gets any hotter in here, I'm going to end up looking like the lovers. Oh my
So, Miss Sarah D, it was awesome having you here with me today,
thank you.
sharing time with you.
Is there
And
another question you have that you did not write down, but you want to ask now?
did I want to ask? No, not really. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
No, you know what? Okay, all jokes aside, because I like to joke, but I also like to be
Hmm.
very serious. What I want to share with everyone is that how much I appreciate you all. That those moments that I can come into people's chats and joke with you and have a good time, that is so, for me, that's part of my medicine and my treatment. And getting, forgetting, getting out of my head, getting out of my body for those couple of minutes, being with all of you, laughing and joking and learning. Um, it means the world to me. It really means the world to me. And I appreciate you all. And I want you to know, you are all in my daily intentions. You really all are. And I'm constantly trying to send positive vibes your way as well, because I know so many of us are going through so many challenges and difficulties. And some people share about what they're going through, and others don't share because they're kind of private, and that's okay too. But I really appreciate you all, and I do try to go to all your channels. People have channels, even if I can't watch the whole video. I try to like and leave something for the algorithm, just as a way of expressing my appreciation for you. and the work that you do for the community and the time that you put in to creating content. Because it takes a lot of work to create content, doesn't it, Ramon? It takes a
It
lot.
does. It does. A lot of
Um,
planning, but when it comes from the heart, it's all worth it,
yes.
right?
So yeah. So thank you, everyone who
Yeah.
tuned
Before
in.
we go,
Yes.
I wrote you a poem.
Oh,
I
my
did.
husband's gonna get jealous. Another
Ah.
man has written me a poem.
All right. So it goes. Wittiness spills from you like sunlight, a clown's grace. Every jest a spark. Your humor dances with kindness, where mirth and love hold hands, circling in a warm embrace. You, a jester of hearts, painting joy on the faces of those weary from shadows. We all admire your gift, your unique spirit. Beneath the paint, beneath the masks, behind the facade lies a soul of remarkable clarity, a heart that beats with profound sincerity, a beauty that transcends the ephemeral. We admire your brilliance, your unyielding authenticity. In your words, we find laughter. In our laughter, understanding. In our understanding, inspiration. You, a master of humor, are cherished for the light you cast, a beautiful reminder that within the depths of life lies everything joyful.
Wow.
For you, Ms. Darrell. Thank you very much for being part of our community, for your wittiness, for your energy, and everything you do. You mean a lot to us, and we always want to have Ms. Tarot D among us.
Thank you.
And
That was so beautiful. Benediction. Benediction.
and thank you everybody for sharing with us. It was an honor to have you all here on this first show of In Orbit with. Tomorrow, I'm going to have Simon from the Hermit's Cave at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I look forward to having all of you here, including you, Ms. Tarot D,
Yes.
sharing with us again. All right.
I heard he's going to be in drag as well.
Oh, I, that's news to me.
Ramon, thank you. God
Thank
bless you.
you.
And
Thank you. And thank
for
you,
all our
everyone.
friends and moderators, thank you so much for helping me, especially on. Oh, and please, if you haven't clicked, go to my channel. Click,
Go
leave
to her
comments.
channel. Yes.
I'm trying
Please
to keep.
subscribe.
Yes, I don't want
All
YouTube
right.
to shut me out. So
Thank you, everybody. Don't leave this Harold D. We'll talk backstage.
yes.
Thank you. And as always, blessings to all.